Hey guys, my name is Johnny Fitzgerald, and today we're going over how to blend basic reverb and delay synths to help elevate your vocal tracks in your next songwriting sessions. Sending vocals out to delay and reverb synths is something very fundamental that you need to know if you don't want your vocals sounding flat and lifeless in the context of your music. You can go as crazy with it as you want, but today I'm going to be showing you something a little bit more basic. Today we're going to be looking at a session that I recently worked on called Delirium by Sacred Icon. A huge shout out to Jeremiah Culver for doing these vocals, he absolutely nailed it. Alright, so here is how the vocals sound like completely dry without any reverb or delay on them at all. The truth beyond the man that took my life. As you can tell, besides the processing and compression I've already put on the vocals, they do sound a little dry and bland. This is where we can set up our delay and reverb synths to spice them up a little bit. In most DAWs, you can create separate tracks where you can put your delay and reverb plugins on, and then you can send the vocals to them. Let me show you how I did that in Cubase real quick. So in Cubase, all you'd have to do is right click, add track, and then you come down here to effect, and you would just simply select how many that you would want, and then you would add. And then you have all your FX tracks right here. I already have that set up, so I'm not going to need those. So you will see down here I have a short reverb, a long reverb, a short delay, and a long delay. I really like blending the two different kinds of reverbs and delays together because I think that they both provide pretty unique characteristics. Let's go ahead and look at what I'm doing with the short reverb. So on the short reverb, it's very basic. I just have a micro digital reverberator by Cornif Audio. This is one of my go-to reverbs. It's super simple, easy to use. It has more advanced options, but for this demonstration, I'm going to be just using the very basic stuff whenever you first load up the plugin. You can see that it has large and then small. This is a small reverb, so I just simply listened to the vocal and I dialed in what I thought was the best sounding reverb for his voice. I'm here to find the truth beyond the man that took my life. I will avenge your souls every waking moment. The flames will rise as the water struck in slow motion. Where do you turn when there's no road to go? And without it, I'm here to find the truth beyond the... You can tell it just adds just a little bit of subtle space to the vocals. It's not doing a whole lot, and after that I actually EQ'd the reverb. It tends to really build up around this 200 area that I don't like. He was also screaming into a pretty bright mic, so I ducked down a little bit of 1K and high passed and low passed, nothing too crazy. Moving on to the long reverb, you will see the same exact setup. Micro digital reverberator, except this time is on the large setting. There's nothing too crazy, that's just kind of what I preferred. And then right after that is another EQ, pretty much the same basic stuff I already showed you. Let's hear how that long reverb sounds like by itself first, and then blend it in with the short reverb. Long reverb by itself first. I'm here to find the truth beyond the man that took my life. I mean, you can hear even whenever I stopped playing kind of the decay in the vocal, you could hear that how much space that was adding. Now, whenever you combine it with the short reverb, let's go ahead and take a listen. The truth beyond the man that took my life. I will avenge your souls every waking moment. The flames... It feels like the vocalist is in an actual room now instead of it just being a super dry signal. So with that, we're going to be moving on to my favorite part, the delay. So kind of the same similar setup that we had with our short and long reverb. We have our short and long delay. So looking at the short delay, I don't really have much going on. I just have Effect Rack by Sound Toys. I have Echo Boy on here. Eighth note delay is very fast. It's quick to decay. Analog delay, dual echo. Like I said, nothing too crazy. This is pretty basic. Let's go ahead and hear how it sounds with it on. I will avenge your souls every waking moment. The flames will rise as the water struck in slow motion. So let's go ahead and take a look at the long delay. Effect Rack again, except this time we're doing quarter note for our first echo and eighth note for our second. And we're doing dual echo again with analog delay. I did low cut it a little bit and I did high cut it because it was kind of bringing in that nasty frequency I didn't really like too much on the high end. We blended it at about 35%. So with the long delay, the short delay, and all of your reverb setup, the vocals will sound like this now.
will avenge your souls every waking moment. The flames will rise as the water struck in slow motion.
Now you can blend those in however you would prefer. For me, I'm a pretty subtle dude whenever it comes to vocals. You can see whenever I open up my vocal chain right here on my main vocal bus. In Cubase over here, you have a sends tab, and all you have to do to set up your sends, after you set up your FX tracks that I showed you earlier, you would just simply click right here and go down to it. And you can blend in your signal however you want right here whenever you're just listening back. So if I wanted more reverb or more delay, I could go ahead and do that, but I like adjusting it in the context of the mix. Every song kind of calls for something different, so it's up to you to decide what's best for your track. So now I'm going to show you how those vocals sound dry in the context of the song, and I'm going to slowly bring those sends in so you can see how it changes the vocal. Now my processing is a little bit more subtle than what you could do, but I just urge you to experiment and find what works best for you. If you like this video, please drop a like and subscribe, and go check out our free songwriters group on Facebook. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below and we'll be sure to check them out. Thanks for watching, and happy songwriting.